Hello there, you are listening to The Screen Queen, where you'll be finding your favorite movie or your favorite television show and learning something new. You'll just have to listen to find out. Here is your host, Samantha Parrish.
Hello there, and welcome back to the show. As always, my name is Samantha Parrish, and you are listening to your host on the East Coast, The Screen Queen. So this episode on Trailer Time is a special request from my best friend Carla. After she informed me that she listened to the episode covering Heretic, she texted me, and I quote, "Longlegs, ? And I'm like, message received, I'm doing Longlegs. I did this for two reasons. One, she asked me. Second, Longlegs comes out this Friday, the day before the 100th episode airs. How could I refuse? So let's get into this. Before I tell you about the story of Longlegs, this trailer has been inescapable. I have seen it advertised at every single horror film that I have seen during the spring and the summer. So I'm excited for this film. So you're probably wondering, if you've never heard of this film, what is it about? So it opens up with a young female FBI agent, Clarice Starling vibes and whatnot. And she's investigating a string of murders made by a killer that goes by a Longlegs, who leaves his calling card written in blood. And so as she's digging in deeper and deeper in this case, some things are going to happen that can't be forgotten. So with that said, it already sounds a little bit like The Silence of the Lambs. I mean, that's literally the first thing that I thought about when this film came to mind. But then the deeper you go into this trailer, the deeper you see that this is some new fresh hell we're going to be getting into. Something that marries procedural with horror. If it's done right, it'll go a long way. My best friend Carla told me a piece of news that she already heard about this film that hasn't even been out yet. It is being called the best horror film of 2024. We are like halfway through 2024 now, and usually you have to have a little bit more time before you start putting out titles that may or may not seem overrated as time goes on. Not to give praise to something at first and not really analyze everything through, but whatever it was that these test audiences saw, they deemed it to be good. That's where I tend to listen to see that where the test audiences are at. And to know that this is praised already with that grand title, like walk the walk, talk the talk, like I gotta see what it's about. But there is one thing that we already do know about this film. Nicolas Cage is the killer. Nicolas Cage has always played a killer, but what is it about this performance that makes it stand out? Because that feeds into the greatest horror film of 2024. And if he is the main villain, or whatever happens with the sinisterness behind the titular Longlegs character, could this be another iconic villain that Nicolas Cage has played? I mean, he's played every villain you can think of, but could this be the best villain of all time? It's a question that's come to my mind a lot, because Nicolas Cage has gone through a bit of a interesting history lately with his resurgence from Renfield, the massive weight of talent, The Croods too. I mean, he's looking at a pretty good slump. He's no longer in that territory where he was just a laughingstock. Like, he's really coming to his own. And now he's just adding further to his roster. But I like the move that the trailer did to only hear Nicolas Cage, but you can't see Nicolas Cage. I don't think we have to see Nicolas Cage before we see Nicolas Cage, because that's just smart storytelling. It's like what I mentioned in the Trap episode where I talked about Josh Hartnett and how we were kept in the dark, and then he gives this smile. It's like, okay, that's enough to harp on. So, not seeing Nicolas Cage in this film, I wonder if they're saving the best for the best of this film. Whatever he looks like or whatever he does, like, maybe it's best that we don't see it now because we're probably never going to expunge it from our minds. Just a thought. But there is one more thing that I do want to mention to this film that has drawn into my intrigue. During the trailer, there is a picture of Bill Clinton in the rooms of what I think to be is like the head of the FBI room, I think. Don't quote me on it. Just seems very Crawford-esque. And seeing the picture of Bill Clinton, it kind of tells a story right there that we're going to be in the early 90s or at most the late 90s. We're already given a huge clue before we've even seen this movie. And I don't know about you, but I'm a sucker for a film that goes back in time. I love seeing a film that will go into a certain era that didn't have many accessibilities, that you really had to think on your feet. The old school mannerisms of looking at behavioral analysis and working against the clock with just the idea of getting in the mind of a killer. Kind of the same stuff you see like on Criminal Minds or Mindhunter. It's another element that makes this feel more like the Silence of the Lambs, with having the terrifying factors of going into the mind of a madman. And it just begs the question, what the fuck is in the mind of Longlegs? What are we going to see that we can't unsee? It's a lot to think about with this film, and I can't wait till it comes out on July 12th. But before July 12th comes up, tomorrow is the premiere of the 100th episode of The Screen Queen. This has been months in the making. I'm so proud to present it. Thank you so much for 99 amazing episodes. So let's bring on the 100th episode of The Screen Queen. If you'd like to catch up in between the 100th episode, you can find me on my Instagram at the Queen of the Screen. And if you're looking for another outlet to listen to your Media Queen, I am also available on YouTube. And I've heard it's an easier experience to find the Media Queen. And lastly, I am also the author of a little chaotic crime book called Inglorious Inc. that is available on Amazon. But I have that bad boy in the description box. You don't have to go through an FBI nightmare. It is just right there. I didn't intend for that to rhyme, but here we are. Anyway, you all take care now. And it's your Screen Queen. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, this is your Queen signing off. Bye-bye!